Kingdom OutKasts Podcast is a platform for us to simply express our thoughts, opinions, and experiences concerning our faith and events around the world. We're here for your entertainment, encouragement, and edification of the body. We're humans like yourself and are not the final authority of views expressed. Only the Most High Yah is. Feel free to agree, disagree, edify, question, and comment however you're led to in the comments. We are many members of one body under Messiah and look forward to communing as a family with mutual respect. Shalom and enjoy the pod. Kingdom OutKasts.
What's good, everybody? This is the See, you should have did it. Anyways, what's good, everybody? This is the Kingdom OutKasts Podcast, and we're back for episode 13. Today's 13, right?
13.
Yeah, big 13.
Yeah. Cool. And yeah, I know it's been a minute, but we're finna get back consistent. So, what's going on? What's happening? What's good with y'all?
You know, your boy turned a year older. New year of life. New year, new me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I turned 26, and all praise be to the Most High. Really. I'm just grateful to be here. In this season of my life, I'm really just excited to fulfill more of God's will for my life. I feel like I'm a lot smarter than I was in 25, and I definitely feel a lot stronger. So that's good. But I'm starting to feel more of a combination of mind and body. So it's all working together.
Okay.
Yeah. But work's been good. Life's been good. Just staying to the grind. Thinking long term about a lot of things. A lot more so.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you pass 25.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I probably might want to get it together now.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, closer to 30 now. So
I might
The
want to get
big
myself
3-0, man.
yeah. So, no, I've been good. I've been blessed, honestly. All praise to the Most High.
Yeah. What about you? What's been up?
I've been having a good several weeks. I've been thinking about taking on another part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
Something I really want. I always wanted to work in sports in college. What?
Just start your own business.
Start my own business?
Yeah, there you go. That's your side job.
That's the best.
The next
that's the best
thing,
part-time job.
But when people say that, it's like business doing what? Like 1099ing is my own business. Really, it's contract work. Like it's working for other people's business, but like the 1099 means in a sense I'm my independent practitioner. Like
Okay. I'll throw it at you.
Self-employed.
so I do. I mean, technically, I do have somewhat of my own business. I do bookkeeping for a CPA here in Atlanta. I'm thinking about taking on a role as an executive assistant, working for a financial advisor / business manager who works with NFL guys. And I think there will be opportunity out there for me to be able to go after NIL girl athletes, female athletes, and college girls who have the potential to play professionally. I think that would be really dope, and it's always been my dream, and so a particular opportunity has come up. And I'm actually waiting to hear back, but that's been something I've been really like praying about and has been on my mind the last few weeks. Sometimes I feel like I'm the kind of person who can do it all, and I can have a part-time job, and I can have a full-time job, and I can this, and I can that. But I have to be very conscious of how I spend my time and be like very on top of things, very productive, organized at all times if I'm going to be able to juggle all of this and do all things well. Because you could just do a lot of things, but are you doing things like lots of things very well, or are you just doing lots of things? Mm-hmm. So that's just all the things I've been thinking about. You know, time management, building for the future, new work opportunities, going back to an old dream I had. And I want to tell y'all about this recurring dream that I've been having. I think I've mentioned it before. Mm-hmm. But it's like I'm constantly having a dream where I live in a shared space with other people. So different things unfold, and I'm just like I'm in the kitchen
some stuff
and like
out
people
into
are
the
out
universe.
there.
That
It's like,
one
why do I
podcast.
What was that
live in this
episode?
dream?
9?
Most High was like,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And it's like so in the dream, it's so normal to me. It's just where I live, and other people live there, and I'm just like walking past them in the kitchen, and like when I wake up, I'm like, where? Because I've lived alone for like the last 4 years. So when I walk in my kitchen, there's nobody there. Like It's just me and my dog and my bird.
No Super Bruiser doesn't mean that she's willing to be a sister wife.
She's not for polygamy.
Unless we're overseas in a castle, then
Oh my gosh, bro.
I would consider it. But not here in the US of A. No, it's not.
Make sure y'all go back and watch some of our previous episodes. I think it was episode 9 when we talked about shared living and community type of living.
Yeah. And ever since then,
Deja was not for it. And not
Yeah,
just
I
have
was
all
like
your
so
dreams.
not having it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Deja making our red pill watchers mad, talking about all this work she's doing and want to do.
No, she's doing too much work. No, how she's gonna get married. No.
Yeah, I think as a beautiful lady, I have a friend. She's of course a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
She teaches in like subs in elementary schools, and she said that a particular white lady was like, "Oh my God, you're so cute. You're too cute to work here." And she's like, "Should I be offended?" Like, it's that kind of a thing. Like, it's a beautiful woman, you work hard. People just like, why? Like,
I mean, because if we be real, like, it's easier. I mean, the thing is like it's easier for, I guess, more what society deems as more attractive women to get snatched up and married, so they don't gotta do nothing, eat a little bit more. I mean, there's pretty privilege, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. And so, that works to some people's advantage. I guess that's what that is.
but I just feel like I'm just very good at lots of things, and I could be successful in business. So I totally want to shoot my shot at those opportunities before I get slowed down.
Dang, bro, she's just triggering. She's triggering some of our watches right now. Slow down, but what about your eggs?
Yeah. Before I have to take it down a notch, I might as well go after it while I have the time. So that's where I'm at. That's what I've been thinking about. This is what's been on my mind the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm. Look, y'all, we just gonna say she's banking on the what is it? Was it the Rebecca or Sarah effect? Which one had a child in their old age?
No, stop.
She's banking.
Absolutely insane.
She's banking on that.
No, I'm not.
Don't be mad, you guys. She still plans to have kids.
This woman was 100 years old. I'm 27.
Hey, I hear you.
She was 100, Brandon. I'm 27.
Hey, exercise and eat right, and we can.
I do that. Actually, let me add that as well in there. I went on a 5-mile run, a 7-mile run this week. Me and Elijah went on a 5-mile run. So I've been kind of in my fitness bag, low key. I've been cooking a lot. I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Not in every area, but in some areas. What about you, Brandon? How was your week?
I turned the big 3-0 on July 24th, and ever since then, I've been feeling all type of weird things in my joints, but it's all good because
it's in your head.
No, I'm not even joking. Seriously, it's so weird. And I've been asking other people in 30s and up, did you really start? Yeah, man. It's literally okay. Most High says now, break down now. I don't know, but anyways, I'm gonna make this the fittest year of my life. So that's the goal. So yeah, man, blessed to see another year. And for you Zodiacers who are so, oh my gosh, she's in between two lions, Leos. That's so toxic. Stop it. All right, stop it.
I never thought of it that way. Because y'all are so different. If it was two Elijahs, it'd be very calm. Actually, probably be a vibe.
There's a spectrum.
If it was two Brandons, it would be very.
The zodiac signs there's a spectrum. You know what I mean?
By the way, as Israelites, we go by the Mazzaroth term in Job 38:32, Ardia, which
I don't
means
subscribe
lie.
to any of it. I still feel the same way. I didn't change.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But for those that are watching that are Zodiacers, he's early Leo. I'm late Leo. So maybe that's where the difference comes from. I don't know.
Ardia. He can
I
be
think
Apollo
the age
if he
difference
wants.
is helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the age difference makes things balanced.
Nigga, Negro, nigger, whatever.
Just
terms,
I don't want to be the last one.
Right.
Just different terms.
Yeah, but let me tell you though, and it's so funny every time I tell somebody, oh yeah, I just had a birthday. Oh my gosh, you're one of them. Bruh, stop, man. Look,
do y'all have a bad rap out here like that?
When people hear that you're a Ardia, or what y'all call Leo today, which comes from the Greek god named Apollo, by the way. That's why I say Arya. they automatically, oh, you're toxic, oh, you're controlling, oh, you're probably arrogant and cocky, oh, you probably have to control everything, you probably have so much energy, like it's just all this, oh, you're probably aggressive and mad, and the main term is toxic, though.
Toxic, yeah.
It's a toxic.
I do think that you can be kind of like controlling. Even this very week, we were just trying to. Way? We were just trying to
bring out the
as
beef.
A podcast.
Bring out the beef.
I'm ready.
We were just simply trying to agree upon a date for us to go do some promo, go to the radio station.
Nah, she's not explaining this right. All right, let me explain it.
It came out.
Because she's leaving details
You're proving
out.
that you're controlling by not letting me tell the story. I started telling the story.
But you're not telling the story.
You're interrupting me so that you can tell the story.
But you're not.
Let me tell it.
But you're not telling it.
I brought it up, so let me tell it. Then you can say what you need to say.
But you're actually not telling the story. That's the crazy thing.
The way that it happened was
Brandon
went to the radio station.
Okay, there we go. That's
he had a positive experience.
Yes.
The bottom line is this here. The bottom line is this.
Yeah.
The bottom line is this. This is time consuming. This is what we're doing right now is time consuming.
Exactly.
Explaining the inner workings of the cast. And, listen, the bottom line is that we need to all do better. We all need to do better. We need to understand each other's communication skills and lacks. And we need to get on the grind with the Kingdom OutKasts.
Okay.
As we are seeking to be outcasts,
I don't disagree.
you know what I mean? Yeah. We need to be putting in the work. We have a great opportunity to promote ourselves some more with the radio, and we did with 110 Media. And I think this is a good realization for all of us.
Good dialogue.
That we still gotta figure out like how we're gonna move forward and as efficiently as possible, but.
It's a lesson in discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, lesson in discipline.
Okay, last sentence to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And you can get
you
one more.
You don't have to have the
No. I just want to make it.
I can say
we owe
whatever
the
I want.
listeners good content. We owe the listeners good content, guys. So we can keep going back and forth, but we're talking about how our weeks were. So Brandon, do you have anything else to add on that, or should we move on to the preset?
No, we're done. Look, it's all good. We love each other. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But
gotta keep the ball rolling. All right, we want to put out good content.
Look,
this is good content too.
People like seeing spicy stuff, so they'll eat this up anyways.
Yeah. Just gotta keep the ball rolling.
Yes.
We got time limit. So the preset for this week is coming from Proverbs 1, verse 7. And it reads as such. I'll be reading from the God's Word translation. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. Stubborn fools despise wisdom and discipline. The beginning of knowledge is the fear of the Lord. What do you guys think about that? And I guess for me, with understanding fear, it's not necessarily like, oh my gosh, look at that, that ghost just walked by. No, I think it's a fear of what you can be fearful of the power that someone has, and what they can do, but also it's a respect thing. I think about my dad when I was younger, I would not mouth off to him. Okay, I probably mouthed off one time, and then he instilled some fear in me.
Smack.
You know what I mean?
Smack. Picking yourself up off the floor.
Yeah. So it's I'm not gonna mouth off to him again. I think it's the same with the Most High. That we should have a fear of Him, a reverence and a respect of the Most High's power, and really just not be disrespectful to Him. But what do you guys think about that?
Well, when I think about someone who disdains discipline, it's just a person who's rebellious. If you can always kind of see from a child how they grow up in the way that their family dynamic exists, and if they're disciplined when they're with their parents, if they're respectful, even to if they're a little kid and they can't sit still in church or whatever, you can kind of see how their personality will mold. Like the child who disdains discipline is going to create their own path, create their own way, and sometimes that can get you in trouble.
Yeah.
I think that even best athletes are those who are coachable, and they want the discipline. Like they want someone to be on top of them, and they want accountability. They lean into and love discipline. That's how you become great at anything. So for the person who hates pain, hates discipline, doesn't want to have reverence for the Most High, that's usually a person who pretty much displays, I would say they would display those things in their everyday life in the way that they deal with their work and their pleasures. Those who tend to be more likely to have addiction issues and go with the flesh. You want to gamble. All these things, like, they come from a lack of discipline.
Yeah. And could be like a pride thing. Could be a pride thing with not feeling like you need to be disciplined, or just be like, well, my way is probably the best way, which shows a lack of fear, and then just no true understanding of wisdom. Because I think, the writer of this was Solomon. So I think we see in Ecclesiastes how he talks about the pomp and the pompousness of life with excess living, with drinking, and even like getting wisdom and dealing with hundreds of women. How those that the living of kind of undisciplinedness just it's not fruitful.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Discipline is something I've been talking about a good while before. Will Smith feminized himself online. The quote he said was like great. Self-love. You can't have self-love without self-discipline. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, if you love yourself, you're going to be disciplined, because if you don't have discipline, too much or too anything is bad for you.
Yeah.
It's important to stay away from sin. Also say this in a the clients a lot of times is say, like, when a person first gets saved, that little spiritual high isn't going to carry you through your walk. It's going to be discipline. Right. It's like how a lot of coaches oversaturate the market with motivation, get motivated. And you're not always going to be motivated to do the right thing. You know what I mean? That's where discipline comes in, setting habits. So that's my little spiel on that.
Yeah, no, that's. I want to say it was really in August, because I finished a fast at the end of August. I'm sorry, at the end of July and into August, and that became my my new screensaver. Is your discipline equals success? It might still be there. Yeah, literally. So there's an equation there, but for our Hebrew word, we are going into discipline.
All right.
Brandon, can you hit us with that?
Yeah, so the Hebrew word Strong's 4148 is musar. It means discipline, chastening, correction. In NASB translation, chastening, chastise, correction, discipline, disciplines, instruction, punishment, reproof, warning. The word origin comes from the word yasar, Strong's 3256, which means to discipline, chasten, admonish. NASB translation goes into more as far as warned, turned, trained, taught, take warning, punish, instructs, instructed, instruction, disciplining, gave, instruction, disciplines, corrects, discipline, chastens, and more. So yeah, that's the origin of the word. And y'all already see, of course, how the Hebrew language, it kind of expounds on that,
I like the synonym warn for discipline, because that's so relevant to the way that the Most High deals with us in discipline. Yeah. It's like a warning. It's like a poking, like to turn and go the other way.
Yeah, and
I'm praying for discipline in my life, y'all. I'm praying for discipline. Same. I feel you that, because,
I think it's in one of the Psalms where David was like, Most High, please discipline me not in your wrath. Because when you get disciplined in the Most High's wrath, that's when you really, you gonna fall. You gonna probably hurt yourself. Yeah, for real. You know what I mean? And that's when it's like you just got exposed, or like it's like just really like it's like, dang, why did I do this? Yeah, and then as you were talking, you mentioned correction and chastisement. I think it's kind of like a little bit along the same lines, but it reminded me of at the men's Bible study, 2 Timothy 3, 16 through 17, which was, all Scripture is God breathed and is profitable for instruction, for correction, for training in righteousness, and that goes back to discipline, training ourselves for righteousness, and that's how we really have to be in the Word daily to be training ourselves for righteousness and just to be disciplined and being disciples of Christ. Because that's, disciple comes from discipline, so being a disciplined follower of the Messiah is what we're called to be. So it's vital. It's vital for our walks. And to be getting more wisdom too. So.
For sure.
That was a really good precept, Elijah. I like that one.
Most definitely.
All praise the Most High.
Are you guys ready to talk about current events?
Let's get to it. What's happening around the world, Deja?
I swear there's a new current event every 6 to 12 hours. However, we're going to try to hit the ones that are very current and extremely relevant, starting with allegedly there's a new strain of COVID.
Dadgummit.
How can this possibly be? And the reason I think is like, I don't know if it's a real new strain or not, but I know that the news is getting out there because I'm seeing people walking around. It's 100 degrees outside. You got on a mask. Crazy. You're walking alone outside in 100. You can't breathe. I seen people on the train wearing just one glove so they can hold things only with one hand. Like, the news is getting out there. COVID is back.
That's my type of energy because, listen, I'm a glove wearer. I will wear gloves.
Will you?
Yeah, like if I actually need to get some for when I pump gas and stuff, but like, yeah, that's like, because your hands, you touch so
I'm not
much.
making
And
fun of you, but nothing in this world would make me put a one glove on and just like operate in the world.
Okay, I wouldn't like operate like all the time, but I'd be like, listen, to pump my gas, you know how many hands touch those gas pumps? You know how many hands touch knobs when you're outside?
I just
surrounded by
my
weakness.
Yeah,
I'm surrounded by weakness.
I don't think like that. I don't get sick very often, so I'm not this huge germaphobe. Like, of course, the basics, like the important things, of course, but like I'm not just out here scared to touch stuff. Like, I'll be fine. I ride the MARTA train to work. Like,
Well, I have clients talk about, I don't want to get on the floor and do sit-ups. Don't you have a shower at home? Like, bro, do y'all not trust the immune system? What's wrong?
I mean, honestly, ever since COVID did happen, there has been an attack on people's ideas of what is the proper immune system.
I want y'all to know what I was doing during COVID, okay? In 2020, I went to Kenya, okay? I went to Kenya in the middle of it. Mask off, all that. I don't care, okay? And no, I didn't take no PCR test. Also,
so how'd you get on the plane?
Ask no questions, no lies will be told. So, number 2, I was outside. Not in these streets. I was outside.
Physically?
Working out in the grass, barefoot, shirt off, sunbathing. I was dating a lady at the time. She got COVID, still kissed her in the mouth. Didn't get nothing. Why? You know why? For one, I would actually never even say the word. Which in backwards, divot, possession of the
so
Hebrew
you think
spirit.
not saying the word
wait a minute. I'm cooking. First of all,
let him cook.
Look, definitions.com, divok, possession of an evil spirit in the Hebrew language. All right, COVID spelled backwards. So for one, I wouldn't act like it existed because I would take care of my health. I would eat right. I would get vitamin D, eat my oranges, exercise. I didn't have to worry about nothing. It probably touched my body so many times and couldn't penetrate because the mind. All right.
Plead the blood of Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
be covered by the blood.
So that's how I feel about this whole pandemic. By the way,
I don't care about these mandates. I don't care about the masks. My mom freaking just a month ago was in the family group chat. Its numbers are going. Please be careful.
Yeah.
No, mom. No.
You're like,
No.
I'm gonna be less careful. Less careful than I was before.
Yes.
You know how strong my immune system is, okay? I mean, I think that there's always gonna be new COVID strains because there's mutations, and now with the
But
bite.
why?
COVID creations.
The current
in your
event,
labs.
you guys. The current event is not just COVID period. It's a new strain. What does that mean? What does it look like? Is it more dangerous?
It's a new mutation.
Do we think it? Do we
it's
think
another
it actually,
lab experiment?
Do you think actually mutated,
That's what it is.
or do you think that?
I think it has mutated.
They're
because,
putting out new strains.
Okay, you got the initial.
Or is it news
You got the
only?
initial lab creation.
Okay.
And now you got multiple other lab creations because people's immune systems have been altered.
So do you think that like the actual virus got quiet and now it's just back worse, or did it never get quiet in the first place?
I think they tested us to see how controllable we are for the first round, and now that they know that 99.9% of the humanity are sheeple, now we're gonna make it even harsher and actually implement some things with chipping and CBD and not CBD.
I'm like, wait.
CBD.
I'm interested.
Wait a second now.
Wait, I'm all ears. He said what?
They might get me. See, central banking currency.
Okay.
That's very
Totally different.
Currency.
No.
One thing that's interesting is that studies will come out. They're saying that weed smokers and people like they was more immune to it or whatever.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
But we do have CBD receptors. I don't know. Doesn't mean smoke it, but otherwise, right? But yeah, man. So now they're gonna implement some things with this. We got the currency stuff happen, BRICS nation. So now we're actually gonna see some things rolling out. Yeah. So now we're gonna see some things rolling out, and that's all it is. They tested y'all. They fooled y'all. Y'all took the jab. And
I saw a tweet that was like, Alex Jones was right. Because he was talking about this COVID, like he was saying that, COVID, trust me, COVID's coming back, and everybody's like,
AKA,
stay tuned to the end of
another controlled op, by the way,
which is our alternative thought.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Yeah, another controlled op. But yeah, man, I mean, so all that was ridiculous, and then you had people who was getting taken out. We know LeBron James' son with the heart situation. Granted, he survived.
It doesn't make any sense.
All
a
this
20-year-old.
with
having a heart attack?
All this cardiac arrest and he gets the best service, right? We know he gets the best vitamins, the best doctors. So yeah, and then they didn't want to admit to Jamie Foxx, coming out, but you had a doctor who was saying it was because of the jab. He took all that, and and yeah, man. I mean, we've seen a lot of people die from cardiac and respiratory situations. And one thing they have in common is they took the shot.
Yeah, I did see. This is unverified. So I'm just going to put this out here. Maybe I shouldn't even say it, but it is unverified. I saw a tweet today, and they said that people that have been jabbed 3 to 4 times, they're going to say that you have AIDS.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's completely unverified for sure.
Yeah, it's super unverified, but it's going to be likened to that.
Why? What do you
mean
by that?
In regards to, I think, the mutation of COVID that you could have.
The thing is,
or
that
the side effects,
or
like the detriment to it that it could bring to you.
No,
like with all those boosters. That's what
you're saying. What AIDS does to the immune system will be equal to what all these jabs do to the immune system.
I think that's what they're trying to hint at, because I mean, you obviously can't say it's the same thing, but it's like that level of immunocompromised.
But the thing, that's who all of our doctors and professionals are. So like she's my aunt, but I call her my little sister because she's my mom's little sister. Mm-hmm. Anyways, she's in medical school. Mm-hmm. She just started medical school, like started classes in the last couple of weeks, and she's like 4 times jabbed just so that she can be eligible to go to school. So all the people in her class and all, like it's like a standard for all the medical schools in the U.S. Like you can't go to medical school without being 3 or 4 times jabbed. So every single doctor that's going to work on all of us in the future are all going to be 4 times jabbed. There's no way that they're like we need that population.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find the source that I have, but the reason why basically a study came out and showed that inside of the jab are all of these conditions and disease already. HIV is in it, cancer is in it. All these different things. That's why a lot of people were testing positives for things. even though they might have not indulged in certain activities. I mean, like I told y'all, man, weeks to like a month after my dad got double stuck prostate cancer surgery. And so it's like, bro, like, and I told him like, bro, this is gonna happen, and it's gonna be hard for me to sympathize with you because I told you, and then it happened. And so, yeah, I mean that's how I see it. All this stuff is already in it, and look, man, just pray for the Most High's healing. Go get you some grounding, all that stuff, because yeah, you don't know what's in you, man.
I mean,
it passes through sex, by the way.
It's everywhere now. I mean, it's in the chemtrails, it's in the water.
I don't think any of us can avoid being affected by it in our bodies. I really just think it's a situation to stay, spiritually strong, and the Most High will just heal you.
Yeah.
But other people, like, yeah. Okay, so yeah, here we go. Non-disclosed ingredients: aluminum, bismuth, cadmium, calcium, carbon, chloride, chlorine, chlorium, copper, graphene oxide, iron, lead, magnesium, manganese, nickel, nitrogen, oxygen, chromium, phosphorus, potassium, psyllium, silicon, sodium, sulfur, tin, titanium, vanadium, trypanosoma cruzi, a parasite.
That's probably crazy.
So there's a lot of, and so this is stuff found in all four of those companies. And YouTube, please don't demonetize us.
Please don't.
After this intro.
We didn't mean it. We just told the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
there's this,
stay woke.
everyone has been seeing the new, I guess, I don't know, I want to call it like the black movie. It's like the woke / entertainment funny black movie. They clone Tyrone. And one of the main characters is Jamie Foxx. And the whole concept is like all the stereotypical things that go on in the hood. But like really it's because the controlled like opposition is using the stereotypes against us.
The elites.
So what did y'all think about the movie?
They're just opposition. They're
Not
not controlled. They're just opposition.
Well, in a sense they used the cloning of Tyrone.
Yeah.
Against.
He's a controlled op. That's what Tyrone would be. Controlled op.
So let's discuss.
I haven't watched a full movie, but it was. I started watching it last night. I probably watched like maybe 15, 20 minutes of it, and I got kind of bored. I was like, I gotta do something else. Yeah.
Time guy.
Yeah.
Waste no time.
It was interesting, It was cool.
It's a slow burn.
I couldn't help but to laugh.
Some hoes and some
purple drag,
some drug dealers. I did get to the point to when he got killed and then he came back. So
I just couldn't. I understood that there was like
I really think
there was like a woke perspective on the movie, but I couldn't help but to laugh at all the stereotypical little things. Like, and at one point they were like reading almost like a treasure map type of thing, and it was like going to Mount Zion, and then when they get there, it's the Mount Zion Hood Baptist Church. I'm just like, wow, like how did they know that this is like how we actually live? Like, why is there a Mount Zion in everybody's hood?
Bruh, it's wild. I mean, obviously, it's a lot of little truths placed in comedy, so people don't take it serious. I mean, of course you're gonna, not another pimp hoe, all this movie, right? Pimp hoe drug dealer movie, right? But I do think it's important for the entire message of the movie. Some people believe this movie is talking about all this stuff happening in the hood literally. Some people think it's talking about figuratively. I think both. I think the overall message of the movie is conveying is that all y'all pimp, drug dealers, and hoes is all clones that the government is influencing you to become through the music and all this other different avenues. And you're just literally the same you in another state. It's no different, right? But then I do think all the things are literal. Cloning is a fact. It's not even a conspiracy theory. Like, there's companies out here that actually like advertise this stuff, not on like big platforms, but to powerful people. You can look up the first clone woman, Easy. I forget her name, but Easy. Poisoning our food,
I mean, come on, we should all know that, right?
Right.
Now the communion juice. Oh my gosh. I mean, granted, they probably get some generic brand from the store or whatever, but man, do they put a little extra something? I don't know, right?
I mean, technically, the little packets where like the chip is included.
Yeah.
I mean, they do sell those, mass sell those. Like people aren't going to individually packaging those little things.
Yeah,
so.
the twerking that was happening in the church, all that. You know what I mean? They had the pastor who was trying to pull the money and tithe, not everybody. But yeah,
they
all
low-key went in. Basically, they went in low-key. They hit almost everything, like as far as what goes on, like.
And then the whole agenda of like trying to turn like black people white over time, like I think that just talks about that. I think that's just one before the westernization of the black mind. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The same way in the New Testament, you had the Grecians who were the Hellenized Israelites. We are them today. We are Hellenized Israelites. Mm-hmm. We're westernized Israelites. And so that's where I think the whole them becoming lighter over time with the afros, which was so funny to be honest, kept the white afro guy everywhere. Oh my gosh, you gotta watch it. Funny.
I think whoever wrote it was a little brilliant and genius because you're laughing the whole time, but you're like, no, this is actually a horror movie. Like
seriously,
this is not funny.
And then of course when they all ganged up and finally rebelled, like that was a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? And so, bunch of just, oh my gosh. It was, that movie made me mad, but I enjoyed it, but it definitely made me mad because how real it is, A lot of people didn't, I heard a good amount of people didn't like it. I think for dumb reasons as far as like maybe budget and acting skills, but for what was put into the movie.
Very high budget to me. Anytime
I don't think it was very high
anytime
budget.
you get like Jamie Foxx as like one of their main characters, like they spent money on that movie. Like it went #1 on Netflix. This is not a low budget movie.
I think it's I don't know how. I mean, obviously I didn't watch much, but the set is a big part of the budget too. Like the different scenes that you get.
Yeah.
So if the set was the same in most of the scenes,
$10 million.
I think that would be considered low budget.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure they made their money.
Oh yeah, for sure.
they made their funds.
They're,
but at the same time, like there's not too many people who are this. They're not They're marketing toward a certain demographic. Like you wouldn't even get half the jokes unless you were like a part of that.
Oh,
demographic.
$40 million. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's more like it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Research Guy.
Speaking
of the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Trizzy.
Laughable, yet not supposed to be funny at all. Trump driving through like the middle of downtown in East Atlanta and the people outside on the streets with signs cheering for him on the way to Fulton County Jail.
That man can't lose.
Is this like
I don't think he can lose.
A joke?
I don't think.
Elijah said he'd have been out there with them.
I'm like, no, I would not have given Trump my time, but I think
it's like, do you ask yourself, is this real life?
No,
like, that's what you do.
A lot of people view Trump as like a symbol of hope against oppression. A lot of people view Trump as that way since his presidency.
Do they? I don't even know if he's viewed that way.
That mugshot of his is never
leaving your.
It's never gonna leave people's brains. It's probably never gonna. It's
but
probably gonna be the most viewed photo.
You know what I heard a view about that though. They didn't make him take his tie off and stuff like that. They make you take certain things off so you can't hang yourself and all that.
Is like, you don't
he still got special. He still got special treatment.
You don't have to
Do y'all think he's in that jail cell literally right now? Y'all really think he's in there?
No, he's bailed out.
Yeah. He only stayed in for like 15 minutes.
And guess what? His team, by the way, got arrested, and the only one left in there is a black dude.
I did see that. That's
That's what I mean. Like, this is not funny. This is supposed to be serious consequences. Like, this is not funny.
He's like head of like Negroes for Trump or something like that, or Black People for Trump.
Clearly, he has a following as far as Negroes for Trump. Like, just when we thought that the hood niggas and basically the Proud Boys were the two enemies of the earth, how? When both of them are with Trump.
Literally.
They're on the same team.
Listen.
I think they're against the liberals.
The liberals, yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not too
I think
like,
people are starting to realize that how detrimental the Democrats have been throughout history. You know.
Well, every black person I know that says they rock with Trump says the same thing, and what they say is they remind me of 2019 and 2020, and they were like, we was eating. Like, if you looked outside, everybody was outside, we were spending money.
Williams.
There was PPP money. The hood was eating. People was happy. I know I was eating. I mean, I didn't get no PPP money, but that's when I started doing Airbnb.
Harrison Williams.
People was getting unemployment.
Trump made sure we were good.
So now, you know, things are different.
You know who you voted for. Nah, I honestly don't care about none of these folks.
Yeah.
Trump is control opposition to me too. But you know,
it is
what it is.
Yeah.
I watched his
consider
interview
him
with
controlled
Tucker
op.
Carlson, and I actually do kind of think they're onto something. I know we're talking about controlled ops. The whole thing with like Tucker Carlson and leaving Fox News, and now he's putting out like these crazy like super informative interviews that are loaded, but he's putting them out on X as far as like on the Twitter platform and instead of like mainstream media. It's low-key kind of genius. Like he was like, we're putting this out at the same time as the debate, and let's see who gets more views. And I know for a fact that people went and tuned in to this interview with Trump. I know I did.
I just think there's different levels to pandering. You can do like the Democratic Party does, and they pander to black people and Joe Biden stand out in front of Popeyes, or Hillary Clinton talk about she keeps hot sauce. Like you can pander that way, or you can pander to the red pillars. You know, the other kind of conspiracy red pillars, or the against the government red pillars. Yeah. And I think that's Trump's team. But at the end of the day, like he's still gonna be pushing. I feel like the agendas like. There's a lot of agendas that I feel that were still pushed during Trump's presidency, as far as destabilization, bringing a lot of kind of white versus black kind of conversations up, and then just kind of like the whole evangelical Christian wave. But under his presidency, the black community did get more money in a way, right, under his presidency and stuff. But yeah, I just think it's just another way to pander. Tell us things that we already know. Tell us things that's not new, but yes, we agree with it. And then once you're in office, I mean, he set the vaccine rollout in motion, right?
He's the reason why it got rolled out so fast. All that money.
Yeah, so I mean,
but it was because he was trying to appease the folks who were saying like, we need to have like personal freedoms. Don't have us on lockdown. It's un-American for us to be on lockdown. So he had to appease that group because the people who were like okay for lockdown and masking and this and that were typically more liberal and more conservative red states where people were saying we need individual rights. Don't tell us we can't leave our house. Don't tell us our kids have to wear masks. We're going to be homesteaders. Those were the two groups.
What's worse, being locked down or mass death?
Or being forced to
in
take something.
In a perfect world, I will be open to wearing masks if I don't need to scan things to enter buildings. If like it's just understood that because of air control, like in the future, in China, people were doing it before COVID because of air quality. So if they keep on having all these burnings and this and that and climate, this and that, if it's more safe to wear masks to go outside, but you are able to go where you need to go and everything's open, I would prefer that.
All I can think about is how so many Africans, millions and billions of Africans, don't have to think about a lot of this stuff. Yeah. Yes, some stuff is coming out of the pipeline, but this is just not their reality.
Not at all.
Oh my gosh.
Be nice.
I just want Kenya. I'll be there soon.
All right, you guys. We've had a lot of banter. Are we ready to actually hit the topic of the week?
Yeah. A lot of banter.
More banter is coming.
Okay, so this topic is inspired by yet another argument I had in the last 2 weeks. Maybe I am the problem. I don't know.
See how much she likes to argue. I just want y'all to know.
I might be it, because I got into it a little bit with a person of much importance to me in my life, and that is my mommy. So I wanted to talk about how our generation differs from our parents, what influences us, and why are we different from our parents' generation.
I want you to give more context to that question. Like, I guess you don't have to tell us what y'all talked about, but like, I guess where did that subject kind of stem from?
Okay, so the subject stemmed from the idea of kind of like what motivates our generation, what influences us, what makes us like basically make the decisions that we make, how we spend our time, our maturity level, how soon we choose to do things such as start families and get married, how serious do we take our money, like do we save, do we need help, are we entitled a little bit, do we expect our parents to lend us some kind of olive branch if we get in trouble. These are the kind of things I'm talking about. Like, do we know how to problem solve? Do we know how to take care of ourselves to the extent that our parents did when they were our age? Like, my mom at 25, what was she doing versus what I'm doing at 25? What were your parents doing when they were 21? What were you like when you were 21? So that's where the back and forth kind of went. We were comparing younger 20s now to when they were in their younger 20s. What were they doing? What were they thinking about? How were they prioritizing? And so that's where the conversation came from.
Y'all first.
I guess
I have 3 shots in the tub, but I want to wait.
Okay. You have a mouthful on the topic, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Like, I don't even know what
Let me maybe my 3 quick points will help open up.
Quick
right?
points. Yeah. Okay.
So number 1, our generations are very the same in a way where we've both been conditioned by society for what we should and shouldn't do. Older generation was conditioned, go and get a job and go to college, and the white picket fence and the family and all that, right? Huh? Yeah. They were sold the American dream super heavy, and so they were conditioned to be that way, and they trusted the government, they trusted food, they trusted a lot of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I think we still do in the same way. We're still conditioned. Feminist agenda. Men. You don't need a woman. Go. Smash women and just get money and blah 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 and all this stuff and be deadbeat dad. All this stuff. Music, rapper talk. Right. Yeah. Kill each other. Women. You don't need a man. Put your career over a family. All that stuff. Like, so we're both conditioned by, and everybody goes along with it. Most people go along with it. Mm-hmm. Now, I think one thing is different. Point number 2 is that because we've seen how listening to governments and society, the positions it's put our parents in, how it hasn't worked for a lot of them. Now, a lot more of us may be a little bit more rebellious. Now we're a little bit more, no, we're going to do things our way. You know what I mean? I think that goes a little bit into the rebellion agenda to destabilize, right, the world, because they want to tear it down to build up this new world order. But on the same, it's now bringing out more people who are willing to search for truth and do own research and studying. So you have a lot more people who are awake, in a sense, I feel like, in our generation.
That's very true.
Number 3, I would say... honestly, that's really my main 2, to be honest, on that. Mm-hmm. I won't try to force a third one out. Yeah, I may have something else.
We were talking about maturity level.
Oh, okay.
And basically, how fast do we move to do things, and how independent are we at a young age compared to them at a young age?
I think we're maturing. So, according to apocryphal scripture, from the book of Remembrance mentioned in the book of Malachi, the age of adulthood in the old world was 14. Okay, now if we're looking at us today, we mature at like 25, maybe 30. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I think we're dumber. I think we're less mature. My granddad moved out at 17. My dad moved out at like 22 or something. Got married and started life, right? And that's. It's not even like, 24, 25 for a lot of us, like, get married, whatever, you know what I mean? Right. So it's super bad. So I do think the older generation was a lot more mature, but I do think we have been set up a lot of ways, especially inflation, money, student loan debt, things that keep us from getting to a place of stability to want to have families and everything. Mm-hmm. And then feminism agendas, of course, to destabilize Black and brown communities. And, women don't need men and men don't need women, all of that. So, yeah, we're definitely way more immature, I feel like.
We are. I told her that I thought we were more immature. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I said that there's still evidence that we are evolving a little bit. So, for example, my brother, who is 23, is the first male on my mom's side of the family to graduate college, period. She doesn't have an uncle, a sibling. My grandmother doesn't have a brother or a brother's son, or any of which that have graduated college before 2021. For example, when my mom was in high school, teenage pregnancy was really high. Even a little bit after that, like in the 90s, early 2000s, teenage pregnancy was very prevalent. You don't see as many families dealing with teenage daughters' pregnancy as you did back then. So I do think that there
because
are...
they are still kids.
Well, I mean,
babies having
contraceptive.
babies. Yeah.
There's contraceptive. There's more access to birth control. There's there's understanding knowledge. There's people who actually talk to their daughters. So there's reasons for it. But I'm just saying, as far as progress, that is progress. Even incarceration and fatherless homes is down from their generation is down. That's progress.
But birth controlling and all that is not progress. That goes maybe towards more the depopulation agenda, I would say. You know, the Plan Bs and the IUDs.
But there was a time where people didn't talk about sex to their daughters at all, period. Now, there's at least a conversation. There's options. There was a time where it was just so
now schools are teaching
people are talking to their kids at home more than they used to. Back in the day, so many things were skeletons in the closet. Nobody knows, nobody asks. Now, there's communication at the dinner table more than there used to be.
Because they have to. Because if I don't say anything, the school is going to teach my kids something.
It's not necessarily even school. I think it's access to the internet too. Like there's so much that's accessible.
Access to the internet, yeah.
Which I think that has made us more immature than our parents. But
we're dependent.
Yeah, dependent. But I think we have so much access to information that it's like almost information overload, which leads us to
less attention spans.
Less attention span, but like it's more of
no focusing.
It's more of like we have all these ways to become necessarily successful, but without like a proper understanding of like strategy, I guess, or like, you know, having a sense of maturity. We'll shoot at all the targets, but it's like I don't think, because we feel like we have so many options, we may not feel like we have to stick with them.
Mm-hmm.
We have
too many options.
Stick through
you
one
waste
thing,
time
you know what I mean?
just trying a whole bunch of stuff.
Way more options.
Others have one option, and I better make this work, or my life is done.
Yeah, literally. So
which builds more character, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Having options isn't bad, though. I mean, think about the choices that you would have made at 22 versus what you're going to choose now.
But you know, it depends on what you're talking about. Options can be bad in a lot of ways. Options can be good in some ways. But I do think the fact that we do have access to a lot more options has slowed our life down a lot. I mean, you know, the fact that I can just go on Tinder and be okay and meet however many I want in a week, like, bruh, that's horrible. You know what I mean? The fact that, you know, we can we can literally, I don't know, man. You could look for any. Yeah, dating is trash. I'm sorry. I know you trying to go hard for our generation. I do think we're a lot worse off. I think the only positive about our generation is that we might be more willing to seek truth out and not just blindly go for what we're told. That's the only positive about us. Everything else is worse.
Yeah.
Everything else is worse.
I feel like we have more. More options isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'll use you as an example. I don't know what your parents. I know they're in ministry. I don't know what they were like doing for careers in their early 20s.
Mom was working for the IRS and my dad was working for Interland.
Okay, and so if they would have had the opportunity to use their knowledge and skills to have their own business and be like an expert on a thing and get paid well to do so, would they not have done that instead?
Yeah, but that generation wasn't taught to even think like that.
So what I'm saying, but that's an option that you've created for yourself that your dad probably may not have created for himself when he was your age.
Well, I'll say this. Now in ministry, my dad uses a lot of those skills. He's even, my son is an artist. Let me become a graphic designer. So he does a lot of the marketing and stuff for the church alone. So he does use these skills for ministry. My mom has gone back to work. She's like an assistant for something. She works from home. Pretty simple job, easy job for I believe. And so, I mean, Yeah, like,
you may have just been able to do some things that they either didn't know.
For me, it was straight rebelliousness. I'm gonna just be real. I became what I am off of rebelliousness. I don't like authority. I don't like people, somebody over me having to tell me what to do, and that is why I became an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
When the manager at the gym told me I couldn't give my client nutrition guidance, I'm gonna be out in 3 months. So I studied the business. I duplicated some of its concepts into my own LLC. 3 months later, I was out. Grew my business.
I'm just putting it out there that the reason that you have that experience is because you got a different freedom that the generation before us didn't get. Elijah's doing
what's
some
the freedom that I got that they didn't have?
You don't work for anyone.
But I'm sorry. You're talking about options, things that are available to you, right? What I'm saying is that there can be options there.
The life that you created for yourself. You don't work like for anybody. You create your own schedule. You're able to feed yourself off of that.
My point is the mental conditioning. Some of those options could have been there. My parents could have gone different routes, but because they were taught, right? Go to work, get a job, get a 9 to 5. They were used to that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now I do believe my parents are capable of building their own business, but I do feel like there's more of a fearlessness kind of in our generation a little bit, where we're kind of willing to take bigger risks.
Yeah.
Also, I don't look at college personally as a big plus or a sign, because I think college is a waste of money and time. I do understand that some people, to get a certain job, you need that degree, which a lot of people don't get that job when they get that degree, by the way, because they want experience. But a lot of student loan debt, and you can educate yourself on the internet, which I've done a lot of personally.
I'm just pointing out the evidence that the next generation, in many cases, are doing greater at a younger age, or doing more than what their parents would have imagined for themselves.
Yeah.
Elijah, as an example, you moved here. You started your own businesses. You have a really great job working in finance. You're doing some things that maybe your father, your grandfather couldn't have done at your age.
There's definitely a lot more opportunity. And I think...
But do you think it's opportunity or mindset? That's what I think. I don't think it's the opportunity. I think we have mentally seen it not work for an entire generation before us.
I see what
and
you
so
mean.
we're now willing.
We have to. It's like we literally have to have a... I still have a 9 to 5, you know what I mean? But my mindset is that this... Because I seen how it happened with my mom and my dad and my grandmother. Even, it's like... They did a 9 to 5 for the majority of their time here, and it wasn't fruitful. It's not what I want, you know. So it's like I have to change my mindset, and I think that it's because I don't know, back in the day, those opportunities weren't available to our parents and the generations previously, but I don't think that there was as much access to funding to be able to start an LLC and get business credit, or even especially just being Negroes in America. There's just you can't walk into a bank and start even a checking account where you put your money in and they loan it out.
My dad was born into a redlined neighborhood in Detroit.
Wow. Yeah. See,
it's here's a perspective.
The things that I've done and seen, and even the friends that I've gotten to have, is because of the generation I was born in. I've traveled, been to lots of different countries, and tend to continue to do so. The first time my parents really ever traveled out of the country, they were well into their adulthood. My mom might have went somewhere for work. They don't even consider what else is out there because they're not interested in traveling to other countries.
Yeah.
That's why I say the only real positive mindset. Look at the Israelites, right? Israelites were I believe they've been 13 slaveries, including this America. So you're in slavery. You're in a land that's not your own. The land you're in, that you're in servitude to, gives you options of jobs, so y'all can at least survive as a community while you're in captivity to them. Same way we're doing in America, right? So they are given options by their oppressors. Okay. Those generations get tired. I don't know, the book of Nehemiah, where they're so tired, they start making up laws, and now they even put the Gentile Israelites away from them in the book of Nehemiah, right? Now let's do something different so we can get out this captivity and y'all help us, right? So the only positive that, especially when I look from the Israelite and the biblical perspective, is the mindset of being tired of being in captivity. I'm tired. I want to do something different. I want to control my life now.
We do.
But but now we're coming out with all these scars, destabilized families. We still got to assemble as a community or as a nation of people. I understand getting to go places and things like that. But I do think all of these small positives are very minute to the destabilization of our nation. You know what I mean? So that's why that's the only I think for me it's the only thing that's positive.
I see that we are weaker in a lot of ways. I know what you're saying. I do get that. I do agree. Even I'll have moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I feel like I did so many things today. And for my mom and grandma, it's like, how could you be you don't even have another person to take care of. You couldn't fathom the level of tiredness. And they're right. The whole soft life thing is real. I know that a lot of women my age who do live a much softer life. I don't know what my life would be like if from the time I would open my eyes there were screaming children and just need that I had to physically go work somewhere in person full time. I go to work 2 days a week.
Soft life. That's interesting.
I sleep in 3 days a week. I can go on a 2-hour run in the middle of the day if I feel like it. Some days if I want to lay in bed all day I can. I mean, I do have a much softer life than the women who came before me. Wow. I work hard for my money and this is what I do.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, mine,
when I take a break, I'm all right.
Yeah,
all right now.
Our mindset to control our life is better, but I will say that when it comes to adversity and harsh times, we might be weaker in mindset in that area. Yeah, you know what I mean. And that's I think one of the more dangerous things about our generation is that I don't think we're very hard, when it comes to harsh times. Because a lot of us haven't really seen harsh times like that. And if we're living in the days of Noah, we're going to see the harshest times in the whole world. That's where the mindset of us wanting to take control of our life does come in a good place. Because now a lot of us have found out the truth. Now a lot of us want to grow in our spirituality. We don't want to we want to study to show ourselves approved than just listen to preacher man the same way slaves listen to preacher man on the plantation. So... there's positives and negatives to the mindset thing, but that's for me. It always kind of goes back to the mindset a little bit.
Soft life was an interesting term.
I'm
gonna be thinking
influenced
about
by
that.
the soft life.
I
am.
I do think that each of us, we do give too much energy towards first world problems. And from traveling, that has expanded my mind to be this is not really that serious. Which I think has helped me become a little harder in the sense, but still, I realized that, my parents and my grandparents, they were a lot more, if someone were to say, I wouldn't have to think about it, but I think that people in our generation might have to think about it. If they say, listen, this is the same scenario for my grandparents' generation, my parents' generation, my generation. Listen, they are, starting to basically mandate that everyone gets $1,000 every month to live off, and this is how you're gonna live, and basically there's no freedoms or anything like that.
They're coming down with stuff like that too.
Yeah, these are the parameters that the local government is putting in place. I think that my grandparents' generation, they'd definitely be picketing, rioting, or just causing a ruckus. Parents might be a little bit more docile, but still they're gonna be out in the streets. Us, I think we're gonna be out in the streets, it's not gonna be as many of us. You're gonna get the most from the grandparents, just because they're civil rights era. You know what I mean? Yeah, they were really fed up. But I do think that those of us that are in the truth and that are more independent thinking, wanting to be entrepreneurial, and also being spiritually rooted in understanding who the true Messiah was, we're more willing to be harder, or just out in the streets and nah, we're not taking this. So
Yeah. Especially when we read Maccabees, boy. Maccabees and Jasher will harden you up.
Yeah, but it's I definitely think we are like at a younger age, our generation is more successful, and I think that's just because the opportunities that we have available to us. Like,
thank you. That's all I'm saying.
It's
I'm
like,
just
it's like
we created some kind of success. We're
Yeah,
not just all failures.
Like 16-year-olds can literally be millionaires because of YouTube now, which has never been heard of.
Yeah, I guess for me when I hear
it's just the industry,
like those options. I guess for me it's just like, but it's not like it's in a trade.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like my thing is like, okay, when the internet goes off and stuff, what do you have? Like it looks like, you know, it looks cool.
That is true.
But when they start really messing with us, right? All these options are going straight out the window.
Yeah, that's facts.
It's going right out the window, and you know, so
that's a good point. That's a good point.
That's why I want to learn more construction stuff.
Yeah,
kind of like how I was talking with, you know, some of the School of Hebrews older gentlemen.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, man. But I feel you. I feel you caping for us.
I just want to say, like, I just couldn't fold. I couldn't be like, you know what? Yeah, Mom, we all suck. All of us sucks worse than the last one. Like, I'm like, no, we did something right.
Yeah. There's things that we do right. There's things we could get better at, but there are differences.
But my parents do help me out more than, like, they had each other. They married young. So now, like, if something goes down, for example, I needed like a full set of tires, and like I was just gonna thug it out, get 1-2 tires at a time, because my tires on the Benz are $900 for a full set. My parents looked at the situation, determined that the risk wasn't worth it. We'll buy you tires. Just pay us back when you can. They didn't have that. They didn't have that.
Y'all gonna hate me for saying this, some of y'all. As a woman, I think you should be able to still depend on your parents.
I think so too.
Like, as a man, look, I let my bank account go into negatives like 3 good times and still didn't hit my parents.
As men, we gotta learn that. We gotta learn how to build ourselves up.
Right.
You know?
And granted, we are growing up in America. When I look over in Africa, a lot of these people these girls don't have to move. They don't gotta leave their house at like 25, and they're still in school at like 22 and whatever, but still having businesses and stuff. So their system and building up and how they learn and stuff is, they might even like, bruh, like it's, all I'm gonna say is I have to raise my kids in Africa, bruh. I know we feel like we have so many options, but I promise you we have not fulfilled half of our potential growing up. We haven't fulfilled half our potential, so there's so much red tape and the mindsets blocks that are still in us, even though we're becoming free, you know?
That's real.
But yeah.
That's right. All right, so finally we get to one of my favorite parts of the show, and that's when we talk about an alternative thought. And so we've mentioned this a few times today already, but the alternative thought I want to discuss is, what is a controlled op? And can we talk about some real life current examples, and can we talk about some biblical examples? Like, first of all, tell us the definition, what we think it is, what does it mean, and then let's talk about examples.
Give us a definition, Brandon.
Well, I don't think there's an internet-worthy definition, you know, like that. But so I'm gonna just say,
one off the dome.
And controlled op is somebody who looks like they're on your side, but they're really controlled by the opposition. A controlled op.
That's a good definition.
Biblical example, I would say, is Judas. Right? He looked like he was on the side of the disciples, but the Pharisees and Sadducees were really kind of pulling the strings. But at the same time, this kind of goes against the control op, but at the same time, the Most High still used him for his will, purpose, right? But on a natural, temporal level, he was a control op.
Yeah.
Another example, I think Kyrie Irving personally was a controlled op, and the man literally has a Seal of Solomon tattoo on his hand with the all-seeing eye right in the middle. He's an ominous.
You're not supposed to say that because he's a Hebrew Israelite.
Anyways, he's an ominous, so he believes in Hebrew, Egypt, Hindu, everything. Buddha, he has no center. So, you know, I believe he was a control op. I think what's happening is they want to weed out the Hebrews, or the people who know who they are.
Yeah. And
it's a thing of, we're not just trying to keep this really secret. We just want to weed y'all out so we can pin your profiles and come at y'all someday.
Yeah.
And so that's how I think he's being used as a control op, because he redacted everything and all that, and, you know, he didn't ever really connect it to Ron Dalton, which Ron Dalton has reached out to him a lot.
Oh, wow.
The controlled op thing, though, is almost like the Salem witch trials, where anybody could throw a name out there that you think is an independent thinking individual, a conspiracy theorist or whatever, and then next person next to you can be like, no, they're a controlled op. It's a witch hunt. We don't know who the true controlled ops are
until like someone who the people who are actually controlling them
lets it out. Yes, that's true. When I think of it, the first example that pops in my mind of a controlled op is from the Black Panthers, the movie inspired by the true story, and it's called Judas the Black Messiah, which already the name has lots of symbolism, but it's basically talking about the controlled figure individual who implemented the Black Panther Party to the point where he was like head of security, something really high up. And the whole time he knows he's getting paid by the CIA, he has to keep meeting with the man. At some point, he's almost believing into the organization that he's working for, aka being a Black Panther, to the point where he no longer wants to do this. He starts loving these people. Like, he's like, all right, I got to get out of this. What can I do? And there's no money in the world that could save him at that point because he was in too deep. And so that's what I think about, is someone who sits there up under the situation, very quietly, gains a little bit of respect, gains a little bit of status, and the whole time they're reporting back to some other organization on what it is. They're controlling things. An example I'll use, which doesn't exactly match the definition I just gave, but all this craze about, the Beyonce and her show, and she's been on tour and everything, just people are just going crazy about this woman, and to me, she's just Beyonce. Like, it's just so obvious.
She's controlled opposition to you?
Yeah, I think Beyonce's used.
No.
She's very much at the top.
Yeah, but I'm saying like controlled op. Like controlled op is like, okay, Republican, Democrat. Okay, the Democratic Party is always been what Black people like to go to, but for people who are, say, more into truth, kind of, a lot of us fall to the Republican side because they have a lot of morals that kind of seem like they're biblical, right? But there's still opposition. There's still just the other wing of the same bird, of the same eagle. You know what I mean? And so they're also used to push, agendas, which I think are huge about destabilizing. That's why I look at the agenda of the Republican Party, to destabilize. So like another controlled op. I mean, let's say like let's go for.
Shock me.
Kanye, I believe, is another controlled op.
Yeah, I think he's.
That's MK Ultra.
I think he's. When I think of controlled op, he's probably he's in my top 5 for sure. But it's like, I think he's controlled op in a couple senses. I think his most recent rant started to like kind of wake people up to the ish people, and their tactics, but. I think even before then, he started becoming controlled op to me when he, it wasn't a bad album. But
Just say it. We know you liked the album. It's cool.
I didn't like when he was rapping, but the gospel choir that he put out.
Yeah.
I forgot what the album's called. Is it Jesus is King or something?
Yes.
Yeah. I like the album, but I started realizing like, this man might be controlled opposition to start getting people to think about, to want it to be in Christianity, but like, it's just lukewarm. It's like getting into lukewarm Christianity. Like, let me just put Jesus on this, because Kanye's been in the world for 20 years. Justin Bieber. And, you be in the world, and then, okay, now I'm going to go Jesus. I'm going to get all my worldlings to start, oh, yeah, I'm a Christian.
Kirk Franklin.
Yeah. And
Kirk Franklin might be a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, like a lot of people in the gospel industry, just is a lot of them is control. For me, it's easy to
go watch that cipher that he did at the
last. It was in red, right?
What he actually said.
What did he say?
He said.
He said the goat will bow down to the lamb or something.
No, he said the lion and the lamb will bow down to the goat.
Oh yeah.
Right, and he was like, "Oh no, it's a play on words." Stop. For me, it's easy kind of to weed out control op because I've studied masonry a lot, and the hand symbolisms and things behind what they do. Not hand gestures, but specific symbols and poses that are done over and over and over and over again. So when you see people in the marketing, music, acting, whatever industries, I see a lot of the same symbolisms. And like, I believe the pastor of my old church is control op. Like, he told me his dad was, mom and dad were in both of those organizations. You know what I mean? And I started looking at the hands. You know what I mean? Oh,
I'm
There's a
thinking
lot
like
of controlled op out here.
Martin Luther King was one of the
Greek-
big ones.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
if you're in a Greek, if they're in a Greek fraternity or sorority in a place, that's a controlled op.
But then black people will turn around and say, "Oh, what about Malcolm X?" I mean, if they're sworn mortal enemies to each other and they're on the same level of opposite opinions, then they must both be controlled ops. Like,
Black and it's the light versus dark, the black versus white, the yin and the yang, the light force versus dark force agenda of the Baphomet, as above, so below. You know, or the checkerboard. You know what I mean? Symbolism. We want somebody on the bad side and the good side. Republican, Democrat, Crip, Blood.
Yeah.
Like light force, dark force, Star Wars. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and when both of them start to
Like get
get
away
out of it, now we off them. You know what I mean? Like, Trump, Young Thug. I mean, yo, like, come on, like, it's literally the whole white versus black.
Yeah.
It duality, the duality agenda. We want to control both. Let's make an obvious bad guy and then the hero, but it's still the anti-hero. You know?
You gotta realize, like, never mind, I can't say that. But the funders, the funders are the same people for both sides.
we're talking T.D. Jakes.
Yeah.
Controlled op.
But like, this has been going on since the 1700s.
What's this dude over New Birth?
Jamal Bryant.
Oh my gosh, huge controlled op.
Yeah. So there's a lot of control.
He's wearing his organization's in the pulpit. Like, he's wearing
Apologizing to the alphabet.
He wears
Apologizing.
letters?
Yeah, he has.
Apologizing to the alphabet community. Like, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. Like, you gotta think Greek. Why would we want to be Greek when they enslaved us too?
Yeah.
And
supposed to be.
bro, let me not go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's kinda, I mean,
People just don't understand. They don't understand. They don't understand covenants. They don't understand like that you're tied to something. You know, like it's just there's a level of sheepleness that I was a part of, that I've now been able to see, that comes with being Greek.
I'm
And
thinking
it's like
about
you're like part of
politicians. A lot of politicians are Greek, and the reason that I would say that politicians are
Masonic,
like true
more so.
controlled ops is because they have to talk to the other side. So like, if you get a seat at that table and you're in Senate or you're in this and that, of course you're out with the grassroots, like the voters, the everyday people, and you're saying, I care about the black community, I'm going to do this and that, but you're actually seeing the other side of it. You know what's going on.
Yeah, because
with
you
the
have the
higher-ups,
backroom meetings,
which means you're talking to those people. You're actually controlled. Like, that's
you're
who
actually
you
like-
are.
that's-
and then
that's
you go
where
to
you're
the
getting
hood and you say that
your marching orders from.
I'm gonna lower taxes and I'm
Yeah.
gonna increase these all these benefits and
It's like
college tuition, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
student loans, and then you go talk to the people about how we're about to bleed the hood dry. Like, that's what a controlled op does.
Yeah, it's like when you're in a Q&A, they're like, you get a question like, hey, you know, can we get free lunches? Maybe we'll think about it, you know, and then that person has to go back like, hey, can they get free lunches? Hell no, they ain't get no goddamn free lunches.
Obama controlled op.
Yeah.
He looked like, he's for the people. All he did was stuff for the alphabet community and piss off Africa. Like,
But got all of our votes, literally.
Yeah,
they got
literally.
our grandma votes, our
Literally.
auntie, uncle vote. When Obama was running, I didn't know a soul who was black that didn't vote for him.
Yeah.
I didn't know one.
I don't think there was one.
Maybe there was
I mean,
people out there
come
who
on,
just
man.
I'm
didn't
sure there
vote.
were some, but
But like,
I mean,
there was
for
some
Obama.
who saw
we weren't
through.
old enough to vote.
There was some who saw through. I mean, bro, like,
There was very few.
Oh, I think Darby mentioned it.
Darby
Darby
was
mentioned-
not controlled op.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But
That's an example of.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's controlled opposition for you.
All right, let's talk about financial news.
All right, what we got?
Elijah.
Eliyahu.
Bankers-
Eliyahu Kohen, which is another Hebrew word for priest.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, I don't know if I can.
I didn't know
I
that.
don't even know if I can call him a Christian Israelite no more, man.
Me either.
Eliyahu Kohen, man.
That's a
Eliyahu the
nice name.
priest.
Yeah.
That name is no joke.
I'm legit.
I'll join your church. You know, I will. I mean, I'll be one of your first members.
Thank you. Bankers anticipating blackout internet outage. And I got some juicy news for you guys. But financial news. I saw a video of a very high up executive. I believe he used to be with, I want to say Wells Fargo. He basically said, we are anticipating a blackout where, you lose access to ATMs. You lose.
So are we talking about a grid energy? Are we talking about internet? What are we talking about?
It's like, well, they're combined because it's all based on electricity. But like, internet goes out, and also
Is it a grid monitor?
Grid monitor.
The NERC Outlook prompted criticism of EPA power plant proposal of Jim Matheson, CEO of National Rural.
Well, he was saying, what the banker was saying was these blackouts are happening, yes, but like he was talking about from a banker's perspective as we are moving towards a new financial system. So like these blackouts have to happen to move the money system off of. You guys have heard of ACH transactions, like with the wire transfers, like it takes like 3 to 5 days to get to your account. Moving off of that old system into this new blockchain-based system, and to allow for that process to go through, I'm thinking that they're thinking as seamlessly as possible, but out of chaos they bring order. But he's saying to make that switch to the new financial system, these blackouts have to happen, and I found it very interesting. This is what I wanted to tell you guys earlier, but last night I wanted to log into my Chase account, and I wasn't able to. I was like, what's going on? Of course, I had to get an update because I don't update none of my apps. I don't update my phone, none of that. Like
until you can't use your
until
things.
I can't use it.
Like,
Yeah. I was like, dang, okay, now I gotta go through this. So then I had to go read a new online digital services agreement and a new. There was 2 agreements that I had to go read, and I was like, why? And it's just interesting that, I mean, I'm sure like I didn't even read all of it. I just saved it to my files. I read the majority of it, and I found the parts where I wanted to read, which were loss of access and termination of accounts. And it's just interesting to see like all the stipulations that Chase is putting out, and why this recently had to be accepted, because really like when you go against the Matrix, I think Andrew Tate mentioned this, but like when you go against the Matrix,
Controlled op.
Don't say that name.
Controlled op.
You see, Witch Hunt. People would
Op, yeah.
swear this is the opposite. He does. They hate him. He's not a controlled op.
Okay. All right.
In a
Look.
Simpsons episode. but okay, he said like they can turn off literally everything.
Because what morals is he still preaching?
But his point is that they're literally trying to screw him over, put him under the jail, and he can't even. They can't even explain why.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, but like that's just the thing. Like we're under a lot more control than we think.
Yes.
Like it could just be snapped off, like access and everything.
There were moments where I definitely questioned, like, okay, I know that there's nothing wrong with like physically, we haven't had a storm or anything, so why is the internet out? Like my internet in the neighborhood was out for a good 2 days, and it wasn't because a tree fell on the line or something. Like what would cause? I feel like 5G is not that great. Sometimes I call my mom, she never gets the call. We're on the same plan. Like if anything, my call 30 minutes up the road from her on the same plan should go through.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I heard that the rumors were that like they were gonna do the internet outage to get people back in the offices, because it's like, well, your individual like internet can't be trusted. Like this business must run, so everyone has to come to the office where like the internet surely works.
I can see that.
And that's even.
I don't know how it's gonna work with the. I don't know how that agenda is gonna work with the COVID agenda. You know what I mean?
Because they're gonna send us right back home.
Yeah.
Like, I please send me home. I mean, listen, I do my 2 days and just send me home.
Stay woke.
So the whole blackout thing is like.
Buy gold and
a
silver, man.
conversation,
Buy gold and silver.
Silver coins is what I'm getting into.
And there's places where like
it's a lot easier to trade than bars. Coins.
California, I think California is actually like dealing with their grid issues because they are very infamous for having outages, unexplained outages, and all kind of things with their power grid.
And then they have some of the most ambitious targets for electric vehicles. Make it make sense.
Right. Like, can their grid even support all these electric cars? If they do really hit the marks that they're putting out there saying we're going to have however 10 million, whatever, electric cars, their grid can't even sustain it.
Literally. Yeah, literally. So it's foolishness, but just some financial news that I thought was interesting, and actually had to experience with Chase, kind of like just them updating their terms and agreements. But the BRICS nations, that summit was this past week, and we're just be on the lookout for things like news about cryptocurrency and digital currency, because they're moving it towards us, and literally there's like so much of the population that's against it, and I think that we all should be against it, but it's inevitable. But there's going to be it's going to come eventually, so just prepare yourself. And I think that the biggest thing that you can do in preparing yourself for digital currency and it coming is having your own custody of an account. Because with central bank digital currencies, the custody is probably going to be placed in your bank, like Chase, PNC, Wells Fargo. Like, they're going to have custody of it, or it's going to be another third party.
But how can you have custody? You have to do like a smaller bank. Like, how can you own custody of your
crypto? Like, you basically have a cold storage wallet or like a hot wallet.
Hey, is that Sophie? That Sophie banking app looking a little bit more tasty?
No, they're not. They don't need my data. I don't know if they have any crypto solutions. But yeah,
I actually realized I know a couple of people who already bank with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, I think we had a great chat today.
Yeah.
Really, we all missed each other. We don't ever miss each other because we see each other all the time. Yeah. So we don't miss each other, but we miss the opportunity to actually sit down, have a long chat, get on camera. I look forward to going to the radio station next weekend, and I think it's going to be great.
Next weekend, yes.
Yep, it's next weekend.
Yeah.
Not the weekend after next.
I knew it was the 3rd. And I was like,
next weekend.
I'm here for it, okay?
Very soon.
It's really a blessing. It's really a blessing just for, to get us.
Appreciate you, Eldon Casey.
Yeah, much appreciated, brother. But yeah, it was good to be back and talking. Episode 13.
Much love, man. Hope y'all missed us.
Yeah, make sure y'all share, like, comment. Let us know what y'all feeling.
Subscribe.
Do what you do.
Deuces. Kingdom OutKasts
Shalom.
Podcast out.